up 2 units of trolls, and I brought Scarsnake because Scarsnake has Trixie Traps, we get plus 16 to leadership, and of course he has Stand Your Ground, gives plus 16. If you look at trolls, they have, I think their base is a 35 leadership. Yeah, so they're 38. Their base is 38, but luckily my lord is nearby, and I put them in the center of the army to try to get the extra leadership for having flanks secured. Otherwise, they're just going to run off the battlefield. So let's go over the rest of my army. So over here, we got some Orc Boy Biggins. And what we're going to do with them, we're going to use them to kind of take any kind of large, scary monster that Chaos might feel. Then we have an Orc Shaman backing them up. And then our front line is just simply Orc Biggins, Black Orcs scattered all the way through. And then on my left flank, I went ahead and grabbed a little Goblin squad and a little Rusty Heirs, and they're going to be my little shooty squad. And then I have more Herd Major Mark. And way back over here, hiding in the darkness, is my little shaman, because a lot of people tend to take Lore of Death versus the Greenskins, which fair enough. And I just didn't want to get leashed to death, so I went ahead and took that. So my opponent has an interesting army. He has a front line of just Chaos Marauders with 3 chevrons, and he has backed up in the flanks 2 Forsaken, and some Halberdiers. Interesting list. I think he was planning on taking these Forsaken and trying to envelop me, but you can see that I really just want this engagement here because I have a superior front line. And if he can't, in order for him to flank me, he has to come out across the river, which he slowed, come up the hill, up and around. And by then, anything engagement in the front line, I would have already won. So let's go ahead and just fast forward a bit because it's going to be a little bit of a skirmish phase. So I see that he's all Chaos Marauder, so I take off fire at will. And I'm going to come in here. I'm going to either pick at the Chaos Sorcerer of Death or the Shaggoth. Usually I go for the Shaggoth because people get they get real antsy once you start picking on it. People have a real love for them. I've never had any success with them. So let's see how much one volley does. So he's at 63, and it looks like one volley comes in there. It looked like too many hits, only about 100 points of damage. He's going to come in after me, but I have a 92 move speed to his 93 move speed. Is it 93? Oh, it is 93. That's pretty quick. But anyway, so what I'm worried about was these hounds. But once I saw the hounds run off, I realized that there's just nothing stopping me from picking him away with the Mangy Marauder. So we managed to do about 700 hit points of damage as we just kind of pick him off. And all right, so let's fast forward a little bit because we're still just kind of posturing and moving the position. I'm just going to keep harassing him. Like I said, just take it off fire at will because all these Chaos Marauders with the shields are just going to waste your ammunition. The other good target is this Lore of Death, the Chaos Sorcerer of Death. And he's just going to be another victim to the volley. So he's at 27. Let's see how one volley does here. So he gets hit, and one volley took off, look at that, about 400 hit points. So that's definitely the target we want. So once he gets close, we're going to start running back. Go ahead and get behind the lines. And I'm just leaving the boar boys here. Just kind of wait for any time he commits with his big units. And I go ahead and charge because orcs do have a 30 charge versus 16. Biggins have 26. And you can see the trolls just getting right in there. Let's see if we can. They just smash their way through. So they only got 2 kills on that charge, but they did manage to do about a quarter of life on these. What did I'm thinking? Chaos Marauders. I had the Black Orcs in there. And had I been a little bit better with my micro, I should have just pulled the trolls out and then let the halberds get engaged with the Black Orcs. So you can see that they completely smashed them. And then over here, once again, it's the same story. They have completely smashed through these Chaos Marauders. Meanwhile, back here, my opponent is still just kind of leaving his Warhounds, so I'm just going to leave this group of Biggins and put them off to the side there. Let's see. Got my little Goblin firing squad, and they're all going to start focusing. All my goblins are going to start focusing on this Orc Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, and he's just going to start going down to that hail of this archers. I do get a foot of Gork in here. I think it's right here. So let's. There we go. Not the best, but we managed to slaughter that group of Forsaken, and did not that much against the halberds. Meanwhile, because of my missed micro, my trolls only got 27 kills, but that's okay. So the Black Orcs were in there, and they're just going to go to town. There's nothing really in this blob that's going to be able to do much damage to them. Meanwhile, my opponent is kind of starting to harass me there, so I'm trying to push him off with my Biggins But he's going to wisely send them after these trolls because they do have 6 models left, and they're going to be able to just heal it up. So that's smart on him. Sigvold decides to break through the lines. He's just going after all my goblins. Which, okay, if you want to play Catch the Goblins, by all means, play Catch the Goblins. So now he also is sending these halberds onto my orc shaman, so I'm just going to send in these orc biggins just to kind of hold them off and push them away. And meanwhile, in the front lines, you can see that he's going to want none of this action. These orc biggins are just smashing their way through. These halberdiers, just the only thing they have really going for them right now is they have a high armor. And you can see Skarsnik's up to 22 kills. And these black orcs just go into town up to 85. And nothing over here is, like I said, is going to be able to go through. And I think we're going to get another big old smash. So let's see, 39. And we hit, and we're taking it down to 14. So 2 well-placed foots. See if there's a footprint there. Doesn't look like there is. And let's go back to my back line. So one thing that did surprise me is I thought one group of boar biggins would have been able to smash through these hounds, but 2 groups of hounds actually managed to do a fair amount of damage on my biggins, and they're going to actually win that fight. Meanwhile, over here, I sent my trolls to go play with Sigvold. They're not doing that great, but it was just to hold them up while I got all my archers in position to keep shooting. And then he does send some Chaos Marauders to go chase some goblins, which is fine. If Chaos Marauders can chase the goblins off into the sunset, I really don't mind. Over here, my opponent, his Chaos Sorcerer does come back, pops a little Fate of Una. And where is his Chaos Sorcerer? I know he's somewhere around here. I'm going to catch him. Where did he go? Oh, well, I guess it's not. Oh, there he is. He goes up here and he tries to fight Skarsnik. I guess he doesn't realize just how much of a beast Skarsnik is versus Cav units. So let's see. He's at 1200. Skarsnik's going to get a hit. And you can see him drop. So Skarsnik attacks, and there we go. You can see Skarsnik's taking about 300 points of life every hit. So Skarsnik's go ahead and he eats him up. So he feeds him the goblin. And then in my back line, it's kind of chaotic. He's just kind of using Sigvold to chase, but he has been taking damage almost the entire time. And as you can see, he's starting to reach his, healing cap. And he's just going to start chasing my goblins again. So now I figured the real fight is going to be won right here. So I'm just going to let him chase my goblins. And I think the Marauders are pretty quick. So their speed is 35 to my 33. Yeah, so he's going to catch them. It's just a matter of time as we just kind of pick away at his remaining forces. You can see the Moorherd Manger Marauders doing a great job just picking them away. Not a lot of kills, but they have been shooting at Shaggoths and Lords and other things of that nature. So they get some good connection now. No good connections there. So let's go ahead and fast forward a bit as we start to wrap things up. So I do have one unit of Tethered Black Orcs who managed to rack up almost 150 kills. 60 there, almost gaining a chevron. 75 on the Orc Shaman. It must have been from those 2-footed Gorks he dropped. And then 34. So you can see that I've now had this dense little pocket. These trolls have actually recovered from their leadership route, so I'm going to send them back, and they're just going to start to regenerate their hit points, and he's just going to keep chasing my goblin archers out the field, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and take my little forces here, and then I'm going to just start doing this. I'm going to just run up here, take care of these, run over here, take care of these, and run back. Once I realize that there's just no point in coming over here, because this is where he has all his good troops, so why not force army losses and try to force him off the field? All right, so let's see where anything going here. So it looks like he's just kind of rallying his troops, but you can see his leadership. Let's slow it down just a tad. His leadership, his Marauders are all the way down to 13. Prince Sigvold's at 74, and the Warhounds are at 35. So you can see as soon as I connect over here, these units are going to break, and that's going to be all she wrote. So at this point, everything he has is breaking, shattered, shattered, shattered. And then he just breaks from army life. So let's take a look and see how those trolls perform today. All right, so the trolls getting kind of okay kills. Nothing particularly exciting, but okay. The real performers were the kind of the biggins and these black orcs. Definitely punched through, and of course the orc shaman with 82 kills, just stomping the yard out there. And then on his side, his only real troops that did a lot of work were actually the Chaos Warhounds. Those are really kind of his MVPs. All right, so we're going to cut out and we're going to jump back into the second game and see if trolls get a purpose. And we're back. So I had the same exact army set up as last time because I ended up fighting nothing but chaos today, but sometimes it is what it is. So I went ahead and once again I got that little Night Goblin Shaman, and luckily I brought him because it looked like my opponent wanted to do the little cheesy Lord Snipe, which, alright, fair enough. I think it's a bad tactic if you just it's kind of, well, not a bad tactic. It's a one-trick pony tactic. You don't really have too much that you can do about it. And then my opponent has a very interesting line here. So he has 3 units of Chosen with some chevrons, 2 units of Chosen with great weapons, and then Aspiring Champion. So I'm thinking, all right, so maybe my trolls will finally have the chance to do what they need to do. Because this is the exact engagement you want, right? Because these all have 120 armor, and the trolls are armor piercing, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to fast forward a bit as we kind of move into position. I go ahead and I break off my archers. I'm going to send them over here, and I have my boar boys, biggins, and I'm hoping to bait him down into my Morher's Mangy Marauder. So you see I'm just trying to pick away, just harassing him, trying to get any free kills, and I'm just keep on moving them in and keep moving them in, anything to bait them into a combat, because really he can't catch me. And you can see that the Mangy Marauders have already done a fair amount of damage to this Chaos Lord, so I'm doing okay. Meanwhile, he does Spirit Leech my Orc Shaman, which, fair enough. There's nothing I can do about it. So I'm just going to use my Orc Shaman as the bait, because my Orc Shaman is less valuable to me than the leadership bonus of Scarstick. So I'm just going to use that as bait. So like I said, I just keep coming in, and then he takes the bait, he jumps into these goblins, and I'm going to run in here. I'm going to pop the, what's the spell? The Wog. But unfortunately, I wasn't as fast as I had thought of. Oh, here we go. That's it. I wasn't as fast as I thought I was going to be, and I just didn't get a hold of it. But you can see the Mangy Marauders have got one of the Chaos Sorcerers down to half-life. The Chaos Lord is starting to get pinged up a little bit. And then he jumps his Lord in here, and I'm hoping, all right, is this the moment? Is this the moment we can kind of get in there and go to town? So we send in the Orc Boars in there, but no, he managed to get away again. And all right, so finally he comes in chasing, and I'm able to wrap around him. Meanwhile, my other group of goblins are connected to the biggins, and he does waste his resources killing off the Orc Shaman, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. I'll take the wins where I can. And you're going to see that all of this Archer Fire is just going to start to shred that poor Death Sorcerer. And he comes in here with his Chaos Lord, and this is the exact engagement I want, because he spent a lot of his money on armor piercing. I don't really have armor, but I do have bonus versus large and armor piercing. And you can see that I'm really going to start to get in there. I did turn the Mangy Marauders onto melee to try to hold down this Chaos Sorcerer and try to finish him off. But once again, he kind of comes back in there. I'm going to send everything I have to start poking him down. I'm going to send this Orc Biggin to come over here and try to pin him. Meanwhile, I'm going to send the Mangy Marauders to chase this guy off the battlefield and just run him dry. So no kills on my side yet, but he has managed to take out a few of my models. And you can see that now that he's starting to get in here, they're really just taking an utter beating. So with his Chaos Sorcerer being exposed to the biggins, I'm not too worried. I focus fire everything onto his Chaos Lord. I'm like, all right, let's just run these guys off the field. So my opponent got a little overzealous, but his front line is still pretty scary, and they haven't kind of teed off yet. Going to use these Mangy Marauders to force off his Chaos Lord, but he shatters. The other one is broken, and we're going to do just fine. So I did manage to get the other Chaos Sorcerer. I don't know where he is. So we got the front line engaging here. The Black Earth's going to come in. The Troll's going to come in. And he has no anti-large, so I'm thinking the Trolls are going to start doing okay. And, well, it's kind of a mixed performance, but we wrap both groups of Trolls onto the same group of Chosen. No kills yet, but they have started taking a fair amount of damage, and we pop the Wog, and that's when we're going to really start to see some damage being dealt here and start going down. Meanwhile, you can see that my Black Horse are trading decently well, considering the 2-on-1 engagement, and over here, they're doing really well against these Chosen. Chosen do cost 1,100 or 150 more points. But I am able to wrap around because he just kind of dedicates everything he has to the center. So I'm able to take my slightly wider and go around. Meanwhile, you can see I'm positioning everything up. And what I'm going to do with my Orc Biggins is come out and hit all the juiciness because I want the big impact. And then I still have ammunition on these archers. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to let the archers tee off. So they have 0 kills and 0 because they were shooting at the sorcerers all day, and let's just see them. They're just getting shredded now and just going down. My opponent, once again, is chasing off trolls, which seems to be the new chaos tactic. My other trolls, which I'm trying to focus on here, about halfway through an experience point, and have gotten 12 kills, and it looks like they're really starting to get some work done. So they're actually doing okay because their fear is actually helping their fear is -10, so it's really helping collapse their line. So I just got to get some more cycle charges in there, and I'll be doing okay. And then you see that my normal goblins are up to 4 kills and then 7 kills just on chosen, just because we've managed to reduce their armor, and we're just going in there. So I sent in more mangy marauders as charged just to collapse their leadership, and you can see that it worked. And then over here is I'm just collapsing this side. Once again, they make the mistake of sending the large creature against Skarsnik. And Skarsnik, while he's taking a little bit of damage here, I'm able to hold up and push off his remaining forces. So where are my trolls gone? Have they routed off? They probably did. Well, I have one group there, and the other group is, I guess, oh no, they got overzealous, it looks like. So let's see how they're doing. 15, and the other group that ran off, they only got 2, but that's okay. They're still doing all right. So now it's just going to be a wrap up. You can see that his leadership's really starting to tank, and I'm just able to get all those archers right in there, and they just go to town. So let's take a look at how we performed today. All right, so the trolls doing a kind of a mixed performance. I mean, they almost paid for themselves, but they were fighting the best of the best. And my poor little orc shaman didn't have a chance, didn't really get to use him. But luckily, my opponent just focused all his efforts onto the orc shaman instead of trying to focus down kind of my heavy hitters. If he Fate Abuned me on these black orcs, that probably would have been a different story. And then the real heroes of the story are just these mangy marauders and the orc biggins, just destroying his command center. And that's all. So what I think about trolls, they're fun. Not really